All right. So we hate music here at the Bop Stop. So we're going to be going through our top 25 songs of 2021. Now, these are the songs that we hated the least that came out this year. And yeah, but keep in mind that these are still all like terrible because all music is bad for you. It hurts your ears. So my number 25 is going to be Montero, Call Me By Your Name by Lil Nas X. This track just slaps. It's just such a banger. I had a lot of fun with it.
My number 25 is Oblivion by Royal Blood. They just make, it's the catchy music with the bass and the synths and the good guitar. They don't have a guitar. They only have a bass. I don't know why I said that.
It sounds like a guitar.
Sort of, yeah.
My number 24 is going to be G.A.F.F. or Give a Fuck Fatigue by Tropical Fuckstorm. This track samples an Australian politician transitioning from talking about gay marriage to crocodile deaths. So it's so sick. Funny. It's so funny. Watch the clip. Oh my God.
That's sick. Let's go. My number 24 is BUZZCUT by Brockhampton featuring Danny Brown. I love the energy on this track. I love the beat. I love how it just sounds like there's like a siren going off in the distance constantly. And Danny Brown is such a fantastic addition. He has so much energy and personality that he should be featured on more Brockhampton songs. Yes.
My number 23 is going to be Shadow by BABii. This is a more hyperpop-esque track from BABii, as opposed to her more like ethereal stuff as usual. But just kind of slaps, honestly. This track goes it goes hard. It's definitely like one of the most Iglooghost sounding tracks that BABii's released, but that's not a bad thing. I like Iglooghost.
My number 23 is Bothering Me by Kai Whiston. I feel like this track is kind of like a combination of all of his previous sounds. It feels like atmospheric and grand at points, but still has this really glitchy, fun, in-your-face reduction to it. Great track. Yeah.
So my number 22 is going to be Odd Cat Sanctuary by Fire-Toolz. Fire-Toolz are just like throwing everything at the wall and everything sticks, at least on this new record. And Odd Cat Sanctuary is just really kind of like a really intense track, and I really love just how much it is. I don't know how to like describe it, and other than it's a lot. It's a lot.
My number 22 is Fly Again by Turnstile. I love this track just because of how it combines the really fun, upbeat energy of their kind of punk sound with the more dreamy aesthetic that they brought in on their newest record. It's a great song. Yeah.
My number 21 is going to be Secondhand Embarrassment by Underscores. This track is just like kind of bouncy, kind of fun, and just kind of slaps. Really fits into that hyperpop sphere well. There's going to be a lot of hyperpop on this list because I'm a degenerate. So, yeah.
My number 21 is Industry Baby by Lil Nas X featuring Jack Harlow. Just such a fun, triumphant song. I love how like aggressive and in your face the production is. I love the horns on this track. They sound great. Jack Harlow gives a surprisingly fantastic verse. And yeah, I also like how much it pissed off conservatives. That's fun. I like that.
My number 20 is going to be I Have a Love by For Those I Love. This new For Those I Love record is really just like a consistent piece, but I think this track is the most like exemplary of what that entire album is about. It's got great beats. I really love the lyrics on the song, and I think it works out really well.
My number 20 is Corso by Tyler, the Creator. Goddamn, Tyler just came through with some of his best production yet. The song is such an intense banger, and Tyler has so much energy and like personality. It is really incredible.
My number 19 is going to be Haunted by Laura Les. This is a single that Laura released this year. I think it sounds like very kind of Alice Glass inspired, and I think it works out really well. It's pretty short. It's like under 2 minutes long, but it's very entertaining for that 2 minutes. Really love it.
My number 19 is Call It Like I See It by Big Time Rush. Goddamn, the boys are back.
They're back.
And but yeah, I'm so happy the Big Time Rush are back, and they're back with a genuinely fantastic track. It's so groovy and catchy, and I love how their vocals just contrast that with this like very sweet demeanor to them. Really great track. Go listen to it.
Anyways, my number 19 is going to be 18. It's going to be Fix Yourself by JPEGMAFIA. This track, it's kind of smooth, honestly, and it just like it's such a vibe. So much fun to listen to. Love My Baby Like Trump Loves Putin, or Putin is like bar of the year, honestly. Also, the production goes hard.
It does. My number 18 is You Lose by Magdalena Bay. Just this really catchy, fun combination of like synth pop and kind of hyper pop, and it has this like almost blown out sound to it that I think works so well for this style. It's so catchy. I love the very sweet, kind of quirky sounding vocals. Great song.
My number 17 is going to be Just Go by Arlo Parks. This Arlo Parks record is like really great. A lot of the singles came out last year, not this year. So of the songs that came out this year, I think Just Go is probably my favorite. Her storytelling is fantastic. A lot of Arlo Parks tracks just kind of hit you like right in the feels, and like they're very real tracks, and I really appreciate them. So yeah.
My number 17 is Sunglasses by Black Country New Road. The song is just like this really fantastic combination of all of these like dark prog elements that we've been seeing pop up recently. It's simultaneously like really quiet and kind of sensual at points, but then like it slowly starts to lose control and become more and more insane and like unhinged. I really love it. Sounds like someone on the verge of having a mental breakdown.
My number 16 is going to be The Other Black Dog by Genesis Owusu. I honestly, like, there's so many different styles on this album that's hard for me to like pick a single favorite song. But this track is really like groovy, super catchy hook, and just like a lot of fun to listen to. So I think it ultimately what made it appear on this list. Yeah, You Live Black Dog, great track.
My number 16 is The Damage and the Shift by Frontier. Very different song. Out of all the songs off of their new record, this is like the one that like grabbed me the most. It has this like whining sound that they use. I don't know what it is. Yeah. No, I don't know how. Honestly, I don't know how they make like half the noises that are on that record. But this song in particular just has this insanely like catchy and like addictive hook that just like loops, and it's so good. I love how just like angry and impactful it is. A great track.
So yeah, my number 15 is going to be Sylph Fossil by Iglooghost. Sylph Fossil is just an incredible song. The kind of deep percussion along with the very distorted vocals sounds just like really cool. It's very catchy. Like one of my favorite cuts off of, or it is my favorite cut off of the new Iglooghost record. Really great track. I think it's one of the more fully realized tracks off that record as well.
My number 15 is Long-Legged Larry by Aesop Rock. I love how just like groovy and fun this track, and it's so weird and interesting in a way that only Aesop could like make a track. Like it's just such a colorful story. It's so weird and unique, and I just love how great, I don't know, it's a great song. Go listen to it. What else? It's the guy.
The man.
Yeah.
ASAP Rocky.
That's okay.
My number 14 song of 2021 is Vriska by Rural Internet off their latest or most recent album. So Vriska has like references to Homestuck and also Junko, I think, from Danganronpa, which I haven't read Homestuck or played Danganronpa. So there might be some things I'm missing from this track that might make it go harder, but this track goes so fucking hard already. The chorus is so insanely catching, and the breakdown on this track, the breakdown on verse 3, it's so insane. It's so good. I don't know. It's just like the production on this track is just absolutely incredible. It blows me away every time I listen to it.
So we're just gonna do it like this. My number, my number 14 is Vento Camina Comigo by Parannoul, Asian Glow, and Sonhos Toman Conta. Yeah, so this is a triple collab between three up and coming bands and kind of the emo scene. And this song in particular, I think, really demonstrates each of their strengths all kind of like coming together like nearly perfectly. It's has this really kind of dreamy aesthetic that a lot of Parannoul songs have, but then also it gets a lot more aggressive at points. There's some screaming in there. There's some like much heavier guitar work at points. It's really great, and I think yeah. I should have finished that. So I can finish.
My number 13 is Black Rum by Cake Pop. This is Dylan Brady and Friends project essentially, but Black Rum just goes so hard from the start. It starts off, the record was the lead single. I just couldn't stop listening to it throughout the entire year. It just, it makes me want to just jump up and like dance and scream and stuff like that. It's so much fun. Also, Ravenna Golden, I really love her contributions to this album, especially this song in particular. I think it's so fun. And she has like a lot of charisma and personality. You can hear her kind of like giggle at one point in her singing, and it was just really great stuff.
My number 13 is Danger Baby by Pom Poko. Super underrated band. I don't know why I haven't heard more people talking about them. They have this really unique and interesting combination of like noise rock and garage rock. This song in particular does so well with that, with these really quirky, weird, and addictively catchy guitar riffs throughout, as well as combined with their lead singer's vocals, which are just like sugary sweet and gorgeous, and I love this track. Go listen to it.
My number 12 track is going to be Colors by Parannoul, Asian Glow, and Sonhos. Toman was the...
Sonhos toman conta.
Sonhos toman conta. Okay. So I agree with your assessment of the earlier track. I think it's a very good track as well. But this track is much chiller. I guess it's more leaning towards Parannoul among those three. I really like it for that. I think it incorporates a lot of different elements of their styles very well together, while still being like a more chill track and having a very, very interesting composition. Love the build. This is like an 8-minute long song. Big fan of long compositions, especially here. And it just really was a really great track. I think one of my favorites of this year.
My number 12 is Sylph Fossil by Iglooghost. This track's on both our lists for a reason. It has this really interesting combination of Iglooghost kind of previous sound with this like hyperactive electronic music, and also some much more atmospheric elements that really, I think, do a lot to bring a lot of his production more life. His newest record was like a very interesting direction, and I'm definitely looking forward to what he's going to do next. So yeah.
My number 11 is going to be Queer Gods by Bent Knee. This track is also just like dance grooves, just goes hard, you know? It's about how gender is stupid, which I agree.
Let's go. Yeah.
No, but they bring in just so many different sounds and styles, and I think it all comes together really well. This is definitely a more dancey track from their new album, and I'm a dancey kind of guy. I like dancey tracks, so this one really just hit for me.
My number 11 is Porcelain Slightly by Lil Ugly Mane. His newest record was like a complete, just different sound entirely, being like a weird experimental alt-rock album, and I really love the closer off of this record. It's hard to describe. It has like this sort of like melancholic but like depressing sound to it, this kind of feeling of like I don't care anymore, while introducing like weird and like quirky elements that I think really make it stand out in terms of like alt-rock stuff.
My number 10 is going to be Wilshire by Tyler, the Creator. I feel like a lot of people were talking about this track throughout the year, and I think for good reason. So like Tyler's newest album is kind of the victory lap of like Flower Boy and Igor. And on Wilshire, Tyler has kind of like recontextualizes a lot of his music by bringing you in on his experiences in his life and taking you on this like 8-minute long journey across that. And I think the way it like recontextualizes a lot of his music is like very interesting. It's a good song on top of that. It's a very interesting song to listen to, a very entertaining song to listen to. Tyler has, obviously become a very, very entertaining MC.
My number 10 is Superman That by Injury Reserve. I feel like out of all the songs off of their newest record, what I find this song in particular does really well is kind of demonstrate or portray this like chaos and confusion that's present within like losing someone. It's so weird and glitchy and like all over the place sounding, but it has this very overwhelming melancholic feel that I think kind of envelops you as you listen, and it just I don't know, it's a very powerful song. The repeated lines of there
ain't no saving me or you.
Yeah, there ain't no saving me or you over and over again. It just like very, very powerful. And I just love how encompassing everything is on this song. I don't know. It kind of sucks you in.
My number 9 is going to be Polar Equals by Sweet Trip. This new Sweet Trip record, lots of vibes. I'm a big fan of the vibes personally. Big Sweet Trip stan.
It's the vibes.
And Polar Equals is just such a vibey track. I love the progression on this track. How it kind of it's a very slow build for like 3 minutes, and then there's just like silence, and it brings it all back in. Really takes you on a whole new journey. Yeah, just really love the composition, love the progression. It's like really far from my favorite Sweet Trip track, And that tells you how much of a Sweet Trip stan I am. Don't worry. This is like in my top 10 songs of the year. I'm just like, this song's like a mid-tier Sweet Trip just song. So
Damn. My number 9 is Survive by Show Me the Body. Out of all the songs off of their newest EP, this one hit the hardest for me. It's so aggressive and angry and in your face. The opening line of the song is, I never cry watching pigs die. And that kind of tells you just like the mood of the song. It's a good song to listen to when you're in a fuck cops kind of mood.
fuck cops.
Yeah, it's just so like aggressive and like overwhelming and angry, and I don't. It's just, fuck it. It's a good track.
Great track. Yeah, you know what else is a great track?
What is your number 8?
Number 8 song.
Oh God,
here, Someone in the Room by Death's Dynamic Shroud. It's just such a groovy song. I don't understand how Death's Dynamic Shroud is like able to put together just such incredibly fun tracks time and time again, and it's just super fun song. Really groovy, great build. There's like not a lot to the song because I don't know. It's just grooves and vibes, but like. Fuck, man, is it great for that?
My number 8 is Narrator by Squid. Although I wasn't entirely in love with Squid's newest record, this song stood out really strongly amongst their new album. It is so insane. I love the vocal performances from both of the singers on the track are like incredible. They're so like unhinged sounding, and that's kind of the song in general. It's very unhinged. It just like slowly builds until everything feels like it's just losing control. It's so good. I love like how groovy and fun it starts and just like it slowly turns into a nightmare, it sounds like.
My number 7 song of 2021 is going to be BUZZCUT by Brockhampton featuring Danny Brown. Ooh. So yeah, I love BUZZCUT so much. I think Danny Brown really kind of a missing piece in the Brockhampton jigsaw, honestly, and how well he fits into this track and into the Brockhampton sound and style in general. The production on this track is one of my favorite since like the Saturation trilogy, and even then I think it outranks a lot of the tracks in the Saturation trilogy as well. The siren beat and the hard hitting, like I guess they're kicks. I think they're kicks. It's really great, really super catchy song as well. Danny's verse, it's so good. It's so incredibly good. I do wish Danny Brown was on more Brockhampton tracks because he fits in incredibly well.
My number 7 song is Planet Shit by Every Time I Die. In a year that was just so fucked, this song was really comforting. Every Time I Die just have this really catchy but aggressive like style of metalcore. It's very listenable, which maybe I feel like people take that as like an insult, but it's not. It's just a very easy to put on whenever kind of sound, and it just gets my blood pumping every time I put on this track. I mean, what other song are you going to listen to where the lead singer just like calls for the heads of the rich and powerful, like just straight up?
So my number 6 track is a bit more lighthearted, I guess. It's going to be Homeswitcher by dltzk featuring Kamo. This track, I think, has the most going for it in terms of Zeke's output this year. It's got, I think, the best production of any Zeke track. The Kamo vocals help to switch up listening to Zeke, which can be an issue with some of Zeke's songs. But yeah, Homeswitcher was just like, it's such a banger. I had a ton of fun listening to it. Like every time it comes on, I'm just like, yeah.
My number 6 track is Tired, Nervous, and Broke by JPEGMAFIA. He has this knack for just going from like really calm and vibey to just suddenly like switching up his flow and becoming super aggressive and in your face. And I feel like he does that so well in this song, but it still is it's just a vibe. I love it so much. It has incredible hooks. Peggy's energy is amazing and off the walls. It's great song. Yeah.
All right. So my number 5, we're into the top 5. All right, who's gonna make the top 5?
Who is it? Place your bets in the comments below.
This one, if you know me, this one's obvious. So this is gonna be "Wasted Time" by Recovery Girl featuring New Sylveon. I am a huge Recovery Girl fan, and this new mixtape was really great. This track, "Wasted Time," kind of caps it all off, being the sort of closer, and it's about this kind of conflict, the internal conflict between feeling like you're wasting your time and like not wanting to feel like your time is wasted, if that makes sense. I think it works well in the context of the mixtape as well, in terms of like relationships that didn't work out because you're wasting your time finding a partner, that kind of thing. And I don't know, it's just like kind of hit me, I guess. This track, when I first listened to the mixtape, wasn't one of my favorites, but it grew to be my favorite over the course of the year. I especially just love the vocal delivery, the absolute screaming, plus the I believe it's a sample or the kind of spoken word passage as well. I especially love the line like how do we justify our shapes, our size, our existence, that kind of thing, where it's like, yeah, no, I like lots of kind of speaks to me in a lot of questions I've been like asking myself this year, I guess.
My number 5 is Just to Be Needed by Death's Dynamic Shroud. This is easily the most relaxing cut off of the album, maybe with the exception of the song that's just silence. But like this cut in particular, I feel like sort of captures an emotion or a feeling that not many other songs have really tackled, which is like it's just a feeling to be wanted, essentially. And I don't know, the way that this kind of weird, vaporwavy, plunderphonics aesthetic captures that, it is just really perfect to me. I love the vocals in the background. I love how this track builds as well. It's really like sparkly and gorgeous sounding, and it's a great song. Yeah.
My number 4 track is going to be Jackie by Yves Tumor. I love the production on this track. It's probably my favorite produced Yves Tumor track. It's probably my favorite Yves Tumor track, just period. It's just so groovy. I love just how kind of overpowering a lot of the production is, and I think it sounds really great. Definitely a lot of like groovy tracks on my list this year. Because I either want it to be like sad or groovy. So
my number 4 is Senorita by Arca. What a fucking banger of a song. Arca's like glitchy, deconstructed club music sound just like comes together really perfectly on this song. It's really in your face and aggressive. I love the lyric where she says she's going to come in you. That's a good one.
That was a good one.
It's just like, I don't know. It's so bold and in your face. It feels like it's impossible to ignore. And I love that. Especially like the ending of the song, how like wild and disjointed some of the production gets is really fantastic.
My number 3 is going to be Superman That by Injury Reserve. Man, this song just is so melancholic. You mentioned earlier the repeated line, "There's no saving me or you," and I don't know, that's just like, it really just fills you with the sense of just like, yeah, it's all kind of like hopeless, and the chaos you mentioned earlier I think really adds on to that, whereas there's just, there's so much going on, and kind of feels like there's never enough that you've done. It's very hard to have someone like close to you be gone, and I think the way like this track kind of tries to express that, I think is it's really well done.
My number 3 is Caroline by Arlo Parks, which I've been informed did not come out this year, but I'm putting it on here anyway. Caroline is just such a gorgeously produced song. It's absolutely beautiful in its production. It's so like gloomy and depressing, but there's like an addictive quality to it. The strings on the song and the repeated like riff that's played is really great, and I love Arlo's storytelling throughout. It paints this like very vivid picture of just a relationship that's falling apart. She just paints such an overwhelming feeling of like falling apart, and I think it's really beautiful.
My number 2 song of 2021 Doesn't Make Me Cry.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's not the happiest. I guess it's a happy song. It's going to be Well Rested by Kiro Kiro Bonito off their new Civilization 2 EP. Like I said, maybe my favorite Kiro Kiro Bonito track. I love the build on this track. I love what they're doing with the longer composition. I think the overall message of the track, where it's like the world's just gonna end pretty much. We can like try and stop it and fail, or we can kind of either do something about it or be successful, or just kind of acceptance. Just love the track. Super catchy, super fun. Really, really great song, I think.
My number 2 is The Other Black Dog by Genesis Owusu. Just like one of the most fun and incredible tracks I've ever heard. It's so hard to describe his production because it's so bouncy and like catchy and fun, but it's so unique sounding. There really is nothing like it. And God, he's such a powerhouse on the mic. Like has so much personality. He's so much fun to listen to. It's just an incredible song. It's an absolute banger. I don't have much else to say about it other than that.
See, this is what I was talking about, where I think our number ones are interesting. My number one is Sadakio by Nouns, and your number one...
Well, my number one is Dustin by Nouns.
Yeah, there's only 2 songs off of that Nouns record, and we each chose one, so that's to be our number one track. But for me personally, it's difficult for me to describe the song without just like describing the record. So Nouns, this new record is just like kind of thoughts about death, and for me, Sadakio was it just like kind of spoke to me about how to deal with death, really, and trying to find meaning in death and meaning in life, that kind of thing. Missing loved ones who are now gone, who you're never going to be able to like speak to again. Super depressing. The track is like 15 minutes long, by the way. There's a lot to it. There's also a lot of different sonics to it as well. There's times where it gets very like quiet and kind of more post-rock-esque, and there's times where it gets very, very loud and in your face.
It's like metal sections.
Yeah.
And there's like parts with like just like horns.
It's really all over the place, and I think it's hard to think about death as just like one thing. Thoughts about death they're all over the place, and I think that the production really complements that. Because there are times of, anger, and there are times of like calm and that kind of thing, and it can be, very, very difficult. But I think just this song and just seeing, I forget the lead singer's name, but seeing how they are going through like kind of and processing their grief, I think it's very interesting. Very much spoke to me, this track, and really incredible song. Yeah,
it's interesting because I definitely agree with you that Sadakio is like much more about like finding ways to cope with grief, whereas I think Dustin is kind of just like the actual feelings of grief and going through it. What's really interesting is like the perspective of this song, I feel, is a lot different than a lot of other tracks that talk about grief, because it's about his friend Dustin who passed away, but he passed away like 4 years ago, and a lot of it feels like just like the residual feelings from that. There's a lot of like pent up anger in him. It's a very angry track, but also it feels like it's clear that anger comes from a place of like hurt and loss. I love the instrumental. It starts out very aggressive, like punk like, and then as it's kind of coming to this climax with these like just ear shattering like screams, it just cuts out and you just get this very beautiful and depressing and gloomy piano that slowly like evolves and keeps building on itself until it gives way to this just like soul crushing ending with the lines, "I can hardly remember your face," and then eventually him saying, "I miss my friend," over and over again. And it fucked me up.
Yeah.
Like
no.
Because like you only recommended this to me recently, and I just like spent a day listening to that song over and over again.
I want to say, if I was like including multiple artists, like an artist could have multiple tracks on my top list. My number 1 and 2 would be the 2 Nouns tracks, probably.
Yeah.
There's just, man, it's a very difficult record. I really do think that the angry at death thing is something that's not really explored, and I do appreciate the exploration there. And the "I miss my friends" gets me. Oh my god, does that that hurt? But yeah, because there's man, death is fucked up, man.
Anyways, there you go. Those are the top songs.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, wait.
Yeah, we should be able to do one per day.
Yeah. Tomorrow's the top albums. Come back for that. Yeah. Woo.
I gotta go pee.
Okay.
See you.
Bye-bye.